So it's all about pizza. When the government shuts down, only a few members of the government can stay in their offices. Very few. The interns were allowed to stay.
They were running a skeleton staff at the White House, and Monica Lewinsky, an intern, was the bearer of late-night pizzas to the Oval Office.
Bill Clinton obviously doesn't go anywhere because he lives in his office, despite the shutdown.
The struggle between the White House and the Republican leadership in Congress has descended once again to a mean and nasty fight about the government's finances. Many of the services which government extends to the taxpayers will likely be suspended.
What Republicans didn't realize was that one of the unintended consequences of their shutdown was that Bill Clinton's world and Monica Lewinsky's world would overlap.
Oh, I saw him for 60 seconds.
What?
What? I saw him for 60 seconds. Oh my God, Linda, he looked so gorgeous.
Monica Lewinsky was a very talented, bright young woman.
She was from California. Her parents were Democratic donors, and I guess through friends of friends, she gets a job as a White House intern.
She was 22 years old, and she was drawn to the president. He's a magnetic figure. He's the most powerful person in the world. She found him attractive.
The whole relationship with Monica doesn't begin until after he's already being sued in the Paula Jones case. And while he's fighting that lawsuit, he begins a relationship that makes it much worse for him.
Monica talked about that in the A&E documentary, The Clinton Affair.
When the opportunity arose to attend a departure ceremony or some of the other events, I did. He, paid a lot of attention to me. He spent time sort of standing there and held my hand longer than he should have and gave what others have described as the full Bill Clinton. It feels as if you're the only person standing there.
Normally, access to the Oval Office is pretty difficult. You got to go through 3 gatekeepers to get in there.
There's a small dining room there. There's a bathroom there. A lot of presidents spend most of their time in the little space next to the Oval, not in the Oval itself. They use the Oval for the ceremonial events. And so that was the small place that he and Monica would retreat to be together. Monica found him attractive, and there is this flirtation going on. They share a kiss, and then more.
Monica talks about that in the HBO documentary, Monica in Black and White.
There was this mutual thing going on, and so I sort of blurted out, I have a crush on you. And he smiled, and he said, well, you don't want to come into the back office? And
there were only 7 years difference between Monica and Chelsea. It made the affair even more tawdry.
The story was she flashed her thong. How would the men in your life, do you think, would respond if a young girl came in and did that?
She came on to him in this sort of silly way, and instead of just having her transferred immediately to another part of the White House, he took her up on it.
I think I just thought it would be a fun fling. I'm young, it's the president, he's cute. It's kind of cool. Irresponsible, but cool.
After Monica Lewinsky flashes her thong at Bill Clinton, she's with him at one point when he's talking on the phone to a congressman.
He has her performing oral sex on him as he's talking with 2 congressmen about sending troops into battle, and who later said, oh my gosh, that was me.
It begins a series of sexual encounters that they end up having that she considers to be a relationship, and we don't know whether he really ever did. She begins to feel very connected to him. She is emotionally invested in this relationship.
Before you know it, they're surreptitiously meeting, and the president engages in really inappropriate behavior with someone who's working for him in the White House.
She knew what she was doing in some ways. When you listen to the tapes, was she in love with Bill Clinton? Maybe. That's the impression I got.
It scares me to think about how much I care about him and how comfortable I am with him and how I just feel complete when I'm with him.
The extent of their relationship was far bigger than most people know. It wasn't just like a single sex act in the Oval Office. They had a relationship.
I really think Monica thought he was going to divorce Hillary and marry her.
So after that first meeting between Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, they begin this relationship. They met in person sporadically over a number of months.
He gives her a few gifts, she gives him some gifts.
He gave her the famous Walt Whitman leaves of grass, which I believe he has a closet full of them, because he also had given that to Hillary Clinton on one of their early dates.
There were also many phone calls, some of them involving phone sex.
The details were pretty shocking, I have to say. I mean, I wasn't surprised that he was having an affair with an intern in the White House, but I did think that it was so incredibly reckless.
I don't think Bill Clinton would have done what he did in the Me Too generation, because I think he would have known that he couldn't survive.
I think that there was an assumption that once he made it to the White House, that the wandering eye would end. And it hadn't.
My fellow Americans.
Bill Clinton is the architect of his own career. It's so clear from what we know about him that he was thinking ahead about a future political career as a young man.
He said at age 9, he wanted to be president of the United States. From the moment that he shook hands with John Kennedy, he wanted to be a candidate.
He wrote a letter to one of his girlfriends when he was in college that said that he wanted to be more than an asterisk in the billion pages of the Book of Life.
And yet, when he gets to the pinnacle of power, he somehow throws it away. He had to know that he was under a microscope. He knew that there were people who wanted to end his presidency prematurely. He knew that. Why give them the rope?
Sunday, he called me at 6 o'clock. And I said hi, and I said, well, guess whose last day is tomorrow? And he said, I promise you, if I win in November, I'll have you back like that. And then I made a joke, and I said, well, can I be assistant to the president for jobs? Like that.
You didn't say that.
I did.
Oh, Monica, Monica, Monica.